The term jurisprudence is derived from the Latin word jurisprudentia, means knowledge of law. It dealt with the theories and philosophies behind the law. In other words, we may say jurisprudence is a study of concept of law. Jurisprudence deals with the creation and application of law. Law is a system of rights and obligations which regulate by the state authority. Different legal philosophers look into the law from the different perspective, and the philosophers have their own set of approach towards the law. Salmon's concept to jurisprudence can be divided into three heads: 1 analytical, 2 historical, and 3 philosophical, but he missed the sociological point. The approaches of the legal philosophers can broadly scored on 5 law schools: 1 philosophical law school, 2 analytical law school, 3 historical law school, 4 sociological law school, and 5 realist school of law. 1. Philosophical law school. This school is also called natural school or moral school. The history of this school can be seen since 2500 years back. The thought of this school can be seen in the ideas of Roman and Greek. To Dias, natural law as a law which derive its own inherent values differentiated by its living and organic properties from the law promulgated in advance by the state or its agencies. Further Friedman forwarded, natural law concerns a universal order governing all men. Natural law accepts the moral theory of law and proposes that the basis of law must be ethical and moral. If the state enact the unfair law, the citizen member will not obey. So the state will focus on correct law. Natural law is eternal and men discover it. Natural law is also the law of reasons by which the society is governed. The rule of law of Britain and India and the due process of law of US is the outcome of the basis of natural law. The chief exponent of this school are Socrates, Kohler, Grotius, Hegel, and Kant. This school acknowledges the law of reasons and logics. 2. Analytical Law School. This school focuses on the relation of law with the state. This school is also known as Austinian school or imperative school. Austin and Bentham are the chief exponent of this school, supported by many others such as Hobbes and Bourdieu. According to this school of thought, law has two important characteristics. 1. Law is the command of the sovereign authority to the inferior. 2. Force is the essence of law. Law is obeyed because of the fear of physical punishment. The sanction behind the law is the coercive authority of the state. People obey the law because they are afraid of physical punishment. This analytical school lays more emphasis on the physical force at the disposal of the state. Law is regarded as this law because it is the order of the sovereign authority, and if there is a breach, the consequence is physical punishment. 3. Historical School. The chief advocate of this school are Henry Maine, Pollock, and others. To this school, law is nothing but the product of the historical force. Law grew with the process of history. The historical school had laid great emphasis on the customs, usage, traditions in the evolution of law. State cannot be regarded as the maker of law because people from the early times gave rise to the certain habits, customs, usage, traditions which provided the basis of law. The state only enforced the law. The people are the true background and practical basis of law. No law can stand the test of time unless the people want it, unless it has something to do with their needs. A law which is totally separated from the customs and usage will not be obeyed, and it will be nothing but dead words. Sociological School of Law. Hugo Crabb is the chief exponent of the Sociological School of Law. Hugo Crabb defines law as totality of rules which spring from the man's feeling or sense of right. Law are obeyed because they conform the sense of right. They also denies the notion of the historical school of law, as custom, usage are pre-political, but not so in case of law. This school also ignored the thought of the Austinian school. They disagree that law is the command of the sovereign authority and law has the coercive power behind it, because this is a subjective approach rather than objective. To this school, law is the set of conduct controlling men in the society. Men follows the law because of rightness and self-interest. Sanction behind the law is basically psychological, not physical. Realist school of law. This school of law approach towards law as it is actual working and its effects ahead. This school is the combination of the analytical and sociological school of law. It rejects the concept that law is the collection of rules. John Gary, Oliver Holmes, Hangerstrom, Alf Ross are the chief exponent of this school. This school firmly express that law is the act of court. Judges are the lawmakers. Focus on judicial decision, because judges not only looks into the law but into the social interest and public policy. To our pound, fidelity to nature, accurate reordering of things as they are, as contrast with things as they are imagined to be or wish to be, or as one feels they ought to be. This school looks greatly on the evolution of any portion of law in contrast to its effect. Realist school of thought can be divided into two. One, American realist school and Scandinavian realist school. Scandinavian realists criticize the metaphysical foundation of law and relies on the philosophical justification. The realist school have the extensive approach to all the factors to reach a conclusive decision. To them, certainty of law is nothing but a saga.